Hip internal rotation, Pails and Rails from a 90-90 position. So we're going to work our back leg here. Now I've wedged myself up quite tight up towards the weight bench here, but if you're at home in your lounge, you can wedge yourself up towards the sofa or just an immovable object. Okay, so you don't have to, but it just brings me in a lot closer into my end range, and I find that I can kind of push and pull and tug onto the bench to get more irradiation out of this. So first of all, we want to come to a nice end range position. So I'm going to pull my bum cheek back towards the floor, open up this hip a little bit more, get a deeper stretch into the hip capsule here. You can, if you find it a bit uncomfortable on this front leg, feel free to bring that foot in to make it a little bit more bearable on the front side. This doesn't have to be in a 90 position, but it is important that the back leg is in a 90 degree angle of the knee, so the knee is on the same line as the hip, the foot is on the same line as the knee. Now, once I've found my nice deep stretch position, I'm going to hold this stretch for 2 minutes and I'm just going to relax the breathing. So nice relaxed breathing for 2 minutes, no less. So once that 2 minutes is done, I'm going to start my Pails and Rails contraction. So the Pails effort is where I'm trying to drive my foot down into the floor, and I'm going to feel it on the underside of the tissue here. And then the Rails effort is where I'm attempting to lift my foot off the floor. You can't lift the foot off here, so don't be expecting to have any lift, or don't shift in order to get a lift here. You want to stay in exactly the same position, but you're just having that feeling of trying to lift it off, just so you contract the tissues up here. It's more about the tissue contraction and less about the actual lifting of the foot off the floor, okay? So the Pails effort, we slowly drive into that intensity, driving up. The Rails effort, we go straight into 100%. So the Pails effort, I'm going to start by driving my foot down into the floor. So essentially I'm squeezing the floor with that foot, about a 20% effort. Then I'm going to make it a bit harder at 40. 60% effort, I'm going to take a big deep breath in. I'm going to pack that air into my chest and I'm going to irradiate through the whole body. So I'm going to squeeze everything that I've got. I can squeeze into the bench, squeeze all of the tissues in my body and drive that foot down at a 60% effort. Short, sharp, shallow chest breaths here. It's really important because we're not in a relaxed state, so we do not want to be having a relaxed breathing here, okay? 80%, I'm going to drive that foot down harder. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to go max effort and drive that foot down as hard as I can for about 4 to 6 seconds. As soon as that's done, I'm going to go into my Rails effort of trying to lift that foot off the floor. And now I'm going to feel it deep into my hip capsule here for about 4, 5 or 6 seconds. And then I'm going to relax. Now, if you do get a bit of cramp, which is quite common if you haven't done these before, just come out of the position, stretch it out, wait for the cramp to go, and then just come back. And then I would advise to go at a lower intensity, maybe 60%. Just get used to the move, that intensity, build up that capacity over a couple of weeks, and just slowly build that up to a max effort contraction. Okay, so a few important things is, one, to make sure that you're irradiating through the whole body, having those short, sharp breaths. Don't be holding your breaths when you do those max effort contractions. Pails, we slowly build up that intensity. Rails, we go straight into that 100%. Okay, so we don't want to be moving from this position, especially in that Rails contraction. You're still trying to lift that foot up, but nothing's happening, but you're feeling a lot of intensity here deep in the hip capsule. Okay, so once your Rails effort is over, you're just going to relax into that stretch, relax the breathing, hold this for about 20 to 30 seconds. Then when you're ready, you're going to perform a hip car on this side to lock in that new range of motion. So that's your hip internal rotation Pails and Rails from a 90-90.